Hey there, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are going to dive straight into our minds to uncover what actually happens inside our heads and our hearts when we get mad. More importantly, we're going to figure out exactly how you can win the ultimate battle for your mind. So, let's just jump right in.
Now, I want to talk directly to you for a second, especially if you're, say, around 10 years old, but honestly, this applies no matter how old you are. Think back to a time when you were just so furiously mad that you literally felt like a volcano about to erupt. You know that feeling, right? Like you were just gonna explode? It's a seriously intense emotion. And in this explainer, we're focusing on truly understanding that exact feeling, where it comes from, and what it actually does to you.
The book of Proverbs actually gives us this amazing insight. It says, "He that is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he that ruleth his spirit than he that taketh the city." I mean, think about that for a second. This source material is telling us that learning to control yourself, to not just explode when you're mad, makes you vastly stronger and way more heroic than a mighty warrior conquering an entire city. You're basically a superhero when you can control your temper.
So to make this super clear, let's translate that older language from the text. When it says ruling your spirit, what does that actually mean for you, on a normal Tuesday afternoon? It simply means being the absolute boss of your own emotions. You are in charge of your feelings and your actions. They aren't in charge of you. You are the boss.
Section 1. The poison arrow. The text explains that the enemy, Satan, absolutely exults. He actually cheers and celebrates when he can get us worked up into a white heat of anger. But how exactly does he do it? Well, he doesn't always use massive, terrible events. Nope, he uses tiny little things. A quick, mean glance from a classmate, a simple, rude gesture, or maybe just a really annoying tone of voice from a sibling. The text describes these tiny things as literal arrows, specifically designed to wound us.
And here's the thing, these aren't just normal arrows. They're meant to completely poison the heart that's open to receiving them. The imagery here is super vivid. Imagine Satan acting like a wicked-faced man disguised with wings and wearing an ancient Israelite priest tunic, actively trying to trick us into lowering our defenses. He fires that tiny arrow, like that annoying tone of voice, and if our heart is open to it, the poison gets right inside.
And here is the really sobering reality about what that poison actually does. The text points out that when hatred is cherished in the soul, there is not one single iota, not even a tiny microscopic drop of the love of God left in there. The anger and the hatred just take up all the space in your heart, leaving absolutely zero room for anything good.
Section 2. Going blind and deaf. Let's compare a calm spirit to an angry one for a minute. With a calm spirit, you see clearly, right? And you speak kindly. But giving in to an angry spirit is described in the text as being almost like someone who is completely intoxicated. It totally scrambles your brain. It makes you literally blind and deaf to reason. When you're mad, you just stop seeing the truth and you completely stop hearing good advice.
Let's break down exactly what this frenzy actually makes us do. An angry brain, according to the text, bears false witness. That basically means we're never fair when we're mad. We lie to ourselves. Have you ever noticed that when you're angry at someone, you start exaggerating every single flaw they have? Suddenly, they can't do anything right in your eyes. An angry person becomes completely unreasonable, seeing all these defects that really aren't even there.
So, the absolutely crucial point is this. When we are completely blind and deaf with anger, unable to see straight or act fairly, we are essentially walking away from the driver's seat of our own lives. We are permitting Satan to take the helm. We're literally letting him grab the steering wheel and drive us straight into malice, envy, and some pretty terrible choices.
And how does that bad driving usually start? Well, with just one single word. There is a stark warning right here in the text. The absolute biggest danger lies in uttering a single, passionate, angry word. Because as you probably know, once you let that one word slip out, a whole volley, a rapid-fire burst of bad, destructive words is going to immediately follow.
Section 3. The secret defense.
So, I want you to imagine you're right in the heat of battle. Someone just used an annoying tone of voice. You feel that white heat of anger bubbling up. The poison is trying to take effect. What is your ultimate action plan? What should you physically do next to stop it?
The source gives us 3 exact, brilliant steps to defend our spirit. Step 1, simply notice and feel that the angry spirit is rising. You got to acknowledge it. Step 2, take firm hold of Jesus Christ by faith. Reach out to him in your mind. And step 3, this is the most critical physical step, utter absolutely no word. Just say nothing at all.
I really want to reiterate this strongly for everyone, but especially if you're 10 years old and trying to master your own spirit. The single most powerful physical action you can take when you are furious is simply zipping your lips. Do not utter a word. Why? Because as we just learned, passionate words just cause destruction. By staying totally silent, you take the steering wheel right back.
Now you might be thinking, man, that's really hard, and sometimes I totally mess up. But we aren't left hanging. We are wonderfully reassured by the text that even if you feel helplessly carried along by anger sometimes, there is always hope. How? Through the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ. You do not have to win this battle all by yourself.
Section 4. Winning the peace.
We're left with this absolutely beautiful quote from 2 Peter. Be diligent that ye may be found of him in peace, without spot and blameless. This isn't just the nice suggestion, by the way. It's the amazing standard that every Christian must strive for, a life lived in peace, completely blameless, without hurting others with angry words.
And how exactly do we win this mastery? First, we rely on Jesus' grace, not our own natural ability. Second, we treat it like a wrestling match. We actively wrestle for mastery over our mistakes. And finally, we check and stop every single impatient, fretful expression before it even leaves our mouth. We just zip our lips.
So, I'll leave you with this final thought. You know exactly how the enemy works now. You know about the tiny arrows, the poison, and how anger makes you blind and deaf. But most importantly, you know the secret defense. So, the very next time that volcano of anger starts bubbling up inside you, will you choose to zip your lips and hold on to Jesus? The choice and the victory is entirely yours. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and keep ruling your spirit.